Hello everybody and guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be recording this for this channel and for my other channel. Again, I'm not going to know which ones because it's going to go for two channels, so I want to make it as big as possible. But today I'm going to talk to you guys about Iowa caucus and the New Hampshire caucus. This is a message directly aimed for Iowa at Republicans and a little bit of independents. I'll say that. Um, and a video directed towards New Hampshire, meaning for everyone. Mostly Republicans again. Well, mostly for Republicans and again, um, independents because independents in New Hampshire are allowed to vote. Well, they have to pick what they want. They have to pick either Republican or Democrat ballot. I'm gonna encourage them to pick a Republican ballot for all you independents in New Hampshire because today I'm talking about a special case, or my own opinion. So as you all know, as many of you guys don't know because this is a channel that's either one is direct not towards mainstream politics. It's geared towards talking and thinking of solutions and possible solutions for political change within the country or gaming. You decide which channel you guys are on. But I want to talk about today just some topics going around one candidate, Vivek Ramaswamy, or as I like to call him Vivek, pronounced Vivek Ramaswamy. Um, again, this is if you're a Democrat, you don't really have to tune into this. Again, I'm just targeted towards independents, mostly New Hampshire, a little bit in Iowa, but again, in Iowa, I'm mostly targeting Republican caucus voters because I'll talk about why Vivek should be your choice to pick, and I want to talk about a little bit about Rand Paul's tweet today, where he made a message about his he threw his opinion into the race. I want to if you guys did not watch the videos before this or after this actually was because it was gonna be off after this where I recorded before this. Um, I wanted to just talk about. I want to wait for Rand Paul to make a statement. He made a tweet saying he's gonna make a big message. Well, the message was, and I quote, "He's a never Haley," or yeah, no Haley or whatever the fuck his tweet was. But yes, that was his tweet. I thought he was going to endorse somebody, but he has said that he likes positions from people like Vivek and RFK Jr. I'll talk a little bit about RFK Jr. right now. Well, not right now, but in the video, especially geared towards you Iowans who are independents, um, and possibly for those in New Hampshire too, but I strongly encourage those in New Hampshire to pick a Republican ballot so you guys can vote for Vivek. Um, and I just want to talk about this. Again, I know my one channel is geared towards gaming, and I know I'll probably some subscribers on this for my opinions, but I don't really care. It's my channel; I can do whatever I want with it. But to get into this, I'm going to target mainly Iowa first because theirs is coming up as I'm recording. It is 112, and they will be um, going on Monday, January 15th, to vote, and especially Republicans. Um, now I want to give you a message directly towards them, and I just want to say Vivek is your strongest option here. I want to encourage you. I'm not going to tell you to. I don't control who you vote for. It's not up to me. You can be a free thinker and vote for who you want. Um, I might judge you on how you define free thinking, but again, it's all up to personal choice. But I will say this: Vivek, in my opinion, I think would be the strongest candidate, and I think you should also vote for him. And to get into it, I'll explain. The biggest reason why I think that is because Vivek connects better with the younger generation, and this is an evident thing out there today. You have countries like South Korea. Let's do South Korea's recent 2022 presidential election. What happened there was they didn't have a younger presidential candidate, but they had a younger leader of the Conservative Party. What happened was what happened in that era of Korean politics was They elected a 30, at the time 36-year-old leader. He's now 38. But he won, and he attracted a lot of younger people, especially the younger male generation in South Korea. And whenever you saw them, when you saw him, the leader, I believe it was Lee Jun Suk. Sorry, I couldn't I passed it wrong. And he was, but whenever he fought with Yoon Suk Yeol, the candidate, not president, I, w- I was watching the polls, and his poll numbers, Yoon's poll numbers, sank dramatically because a lot of the voters were brought over by a lot of his support was brought over by having a younger leader in charge of the party. Now, of course, younger party leaders in America don't really matter because we don't really know much about Ronna McDonald or whatever her name was, the niece of Mitt Romney. Um, we don't know much about her. We don't really hear about her because they're not in the public as much as in South Korea, let's say. Even in um, Italy with Maloney, she's the youngest. I think she was the youngest. I think like mainstream leader or something like that. I'm not too sure. I just know she's younger than Matteo Salvini, uh, the Forza Italia, the Democratic Party of Italy. She's younger than all of them. Even MS5, the Five Star Movement. She was younger than all those leaders, and she attracted a lot of people. If you actually look at the actual voter demographic, just go to the recent election with you can see everyone but I think 18 24-year-olds voted for her. Even 30-year-olds voted for her. And you look at you know Sweden, you look what happened there. Yes, there was the younger voters did vote mainly conservative. If you look at it, maybe probably more moderate conservative, but still they still voted conservative. And the second highest I think was Sweden Democrats. So, and Europe has a lot more younger conservatives. So you look at voter trends in countries like that, okay, and you say to yourself, well, the younger generation is making big, you know, decisions here in politics. And Vivek is 38, going on 39. He's the youngest one out of all Republicans running for president. I know Nikki Haley. She says it's time for a new generation. She's not part of a new generation, guys. Vivek is, and I'll just say right now, Vivek is part of the younger generation. It is part of a newer generation and younger generation. He understands that young people are going to be the deciding point here. You look at what he tweets out or what he posts, what he says in his country. He knows younger people. He like even on Instagram, he that I follow him on and Twitter or now X, but he knows the younger generation is going to mean is going to mean that this is going to be the deciding factor in this upcoming election and for elections all across the year. Think about the 2020 when they thought, oh, it's going to be a red wave. They failed to capture the younger generation, and the younger generation voted for Democrats, and there was no red wave. We won the House with a couple seats higher than than what we predicted. I mean, what people predicted so many Republican seats, but it never happened because they failed to capture the younger generation. Vivek has connection to that younger generation. He is a young entrepreneur with multiple books. He's inspiring people. In fact, I saw posts from him talking about how 17-year-olds that turn 18 on election day or by election day can still vote. And he's talking to those young people. He's approaching them. He's telling them to get involved. This is how a leader should be. I know a lot of people are saying Trump should be it because Trump was robbed of 2020. Whether you believe that or not, it's not up to me. I personally believe 2020 was stolen, but then again, I believe most elections are stolen pieces of shit. But I digress. Trump has failed to attract the younger vote. Most of the younger generation is more, I wouldn't say Democrat, but liberal minded. And I think Vivek knows this. Now, if Trump can't get the younger generation with him, he's not going to win at all. And this is the problem I see with a lot more like Republicans. Um, they don't understand that you, especially the voter base, they don't understand that the older generation is going to be the deciding factor in, say, the next 100 years. Let's just say, okay, you have to think about this again. Going off the thing, I was talking to just a fellow this morning about it. Yeah, that's the next point I'm gonna make. I think doesn't put the victim. His campaign is based on unity, gratitude, and an open conversation with the opposition. Okay, Trump's campaign and his supporters, they seek a kind of vengeance. Okay, they think that Trump deserves a second chance because they feel he was robbed. Okay, in my opinion, I know a lot of Trump supporters are gonna oust me for this one, and I'll tell you why in a second. Because I'm gonna say something that is going to be controversial. I don't care whether 2020 was stolen or not. I don't care whether Trump was robbed of a win. He doesn't deserve a second chance. He has his time. It is now time to pass the torch on to somebody else, someone younger. And I really do think that if Trump gets in and they try to do this whole vengeance thing, it has to rely on he gets a majority in the House, a majority in the Senate, and everyone has to have a approval of this. Nobody can vote it down, and the problem is I don't see that happening. Trump's is going to get nothing done because he'll be too busy trying to get revenge on people, and it's not going to work. He failed to drain the swamp, and I'll say this: he failed to get anything really done, meaningful done that he promised. Besides maybe some, tax increases, not tax, but tax increases for business, for corporations and all that, and hell, you know, maybe he got some good stuff done with immigration and stuff like that. But you know what? It doesn't matter. He didn't get anything done. And don't even get that bullshit that he won the trade war with China, because he didn't. There's a great video out there by a YouTuber called Kraut, called Trump's Biggest Failure. Talks about he failed in his trade war with China. And that's true. And I remember watching that video, and that's when I really understood that Trump didn't really do much for the country. Okay. And honestly, more videos are circulating of like him at Hillary Clinton's, like presidential banquet or whatever it was, where he's there with Chuck Schumer, Hillary Clinton, making jokes, saying, oh, this, and that, all laughing. You just go to his wiki page, talks about how him and Bill Clinton were very close. I chose weddings, going to the golf opens. He's part of the swamp. Vivek is not. I'll tell you why. Most people think, oh, Vivek took a George Soros sponsored, thing back in college to go to grant, what was it, scholarship to go to law school. Yeah, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't take a scholarship? Who cares who scholarships by? It could be by the freaking, Putin. I take it, to go to school. It's paying for my school. I you know again with Vivek in college back during those times, it proves that he's not part of the swamp. Of course, I saw a post today, someone saying, "Oh, Vivek had dead people's um names like on a signature list or whatever for I think Rhode Island, something like that." Well, guess what? If you actually read the context, and they ignore this, they highlight it too, but they ignore it very well. Um, it literally says it was conducted by a third party individual, or third party company, a third party company put this name on. Okay, put like 6 names on, stuff like that. Only 6, by the way, only 6. But he did this. He has no connection to Vivek's campaign. He has no connection to Vivek himself. He just did it. Okay, he did it, and he was fired for it. And they're trying to make it seem like, oh, Vivek's corrupt. This is what the Trump people do. Okay, this is what Trump supporters do. And again, I was a Trump supporter back in high school a little bit. Okay, so take this for a former Trump supporter. They don't. They just want Trump in because they think he's gonna own the libs or some shit like that. Okay. They think he's gonna get in. He's gonna fix all the problems of the world. Yeah, sure, the guy was great back then, but he didn't really strengthen America though. America became kind of a weak, at least in geopolitical stances, weak actually, and they fail to realize, especially with Yemen right now, that Trump was complicit in Yemen. He didn't pull us out. He didn't stop, weapon shipments to Saudi Arabia, or anything like that. He didn't stop it. Saudi Arabia funds the people fighting the other people. Saudi Arabia sells weapons to groups there. He's complicit in the conflict in Yemen. Sure, he puts a group on the terrorist list, but avoid on the terrorist list. What does that do? Who's on the terrorist list too? Al Qaeda, and they did 9/11. Let's be not then, but probably afterwards. I mean, but even they didn't really do much. Okay, they're still out there too. Look at Trump in Afghanistan. He failed to pull us out of Afghanistan. Look at this shit that he was going to eventually do it. How much longer did he have to wait? Now, was Joe Biden's approach, the best way to do it? Absolutely not. But Trump's was just delay it, delay it, delay it. Another thing that I feel Vivek does better than Trump is this. Trump just didn't have better policy. I'll say it right now. I don't think Trump's policy was that great. Vivek's policy is great. I actually support it. And I'll say this. Let's use, again, I'm going to hop on his China policy. He thought putting tariffs on China was going to work. On the surface, maybe it looked like it was working, okay? On the surface. You're like, oh, he's winning the trade with China. All these conservatives, I don't name drop anyone besides the candidates. But what he did was he pulled out treaty agreements with Southeast Asia. Pulled out treaty agreements with India. He put tariffs on India at one point. Vivek understands that that's not how you tackle this China issue. You know what I mean? Vivek understands that you have to go in. You have to open up trade with India, with Southeast Asia. You have to go in these countries and and, and tackle China through trade itself in these countries. Because, and again, watch the cut video. I'll leave a link in the description below for the cut video. China's policy is just well, if we can't, I'll give a short version of this. If we can't trade with the U.S. directly, we'll just build it to about 90%. Get that phone done. All you have to do is put the microchip in. They ship it to Vietnam, Malaysia, Japan, whatever. You put that little microchip in. Made in Vietnam, made in Malaysia, made in Cambodia, let's say. It, and you ship off to the United States, it avoids the tariffs. Really? Trump was winning the trade with China. No, they weren't. China was selling you goods through other ways. And this is an ancient tactic. The Dutch did it with spices like pepper. The Carthaginians back during the ancient times of Rome did it with wine. There's no feasible possible way that you can look me in the eye and say Trump was winning the trade war with China. Vivek also has better engagement. Now I'm gonna try and time this perfectly to flash this up, but you're gonna see a thing with Iowa at least events. Vivek has done the most events, been to almost all the counties in Iowa. You cannot tell me that Vivek is not the perfect person for the presidency. He's a guy. He was out there pushing cars in a blizzard. He's out there helping protesters at his rally pack their things up. After he lets them inside, he wants them to come inside. Okay. This is what Vivek's doing. I have not seen somebody do this for the protesters or for anyone. You don't see DeSantis out there. You don't see Trump out there pushing cars to help people get out of dishes. Vivek is doing this. He has the engagement of individuals. Okay? He serves as a better example of what a leader should be. He engages with truck drivers. Okay? He has development plans that would benefit, these truck drivers or anyone really. You know, he's out there being an example of what a leader should be. And I think people need to understand that. Vivek's not just a pushover, okay? He's someone that's going to go out there and be a good example of a leader. He's well read, well spoken, he's intelligent. He approaches these issues in a unifying and relatable manner. He even said he would try to have a podcast, basically bring back fireside chats, like FDR's time. But he said he wanted to try to bring back. He was gonna have like a podcast or something like that if he was president. He wants to engage with the population, with the public. It, the, Vivek. I hate to say this. Vivek is what the future of Republican Party should be. Younger, more compassionate, more unifying. Now, I said I was going to talk about RFK, and this is just for the people who are going to be independents voting Iowa and possibly, New Hampshire. Again, New Hampshire, I know you guys can vote for Republicans or Democrats. I highly encourage you to pick Republican ballots and vote Vivek. I highly encourage the independents to do that in New Hampshire. Iowa, it is different. Iowa Republicans, I highly implore you. I hope that you would pick Vivek over anyone else. But again, both because of both states, it's up to you, the individual, to vote for who you feel is the best qualified. I'm just making a video stating who I think is and why you should vote for them in the caucuses. Um, but for the independents and Iowa, it's a bit harder because you have to vote. Um, I think for independent list, and again, RFK Jr. He's proven himself. He met with Rand Paul. He makes some great talking points. He understands that we need change, and I highly implore you to vote for him if you're independent in Iowa. In fact, Vivek has actually said that he would take him on, and Vivek would be the first president, if elected, would be the first Republican president to have taken a Democratic running mate since Abraham Lincoln did it for the first time. So, yeah, that's it basically. Now, I want to say thank you all for coming and listening. This is an uncut video, so everything is me improvising. But I just want to say thank you all. I have a limit of 30 minutes to record. I'm at 24 minutes, so I'm gonna end the video here, guys. But this has just been my reasons why you should support Vivek Ramaswamy for the Iowa Republican Caucus and the New Hampshire primary. So again, it's all up to you guys, but I can only make a video asking you to please consider it. So anyway, I will see you all in the next video on either of these channels that this video is going up on. So, God bless you all. Peace. I'll see you all in the next few videos. Peace, guys.